The next time my parents and Brianna come rolling up in here, I'm gonna scream, "Hey, why don't you all just move in?"
I've got a great idea. We know you've been under a lot of stress lately with our move and your new school. I bet if we posted some positive affirmations all around the house, it would help you feel better.
Deep down, I'm troubled and ashamed that a tiny part of me, a very dark and primitive side, would totally love to be best friends with
And
McKenzie.
a definite turn-off to have to walk through the old ladies, fat ladies, and pregnant ladies departments to get to the ones for, teens. No wonder most girls prefer the fancy teen shops in the mall. To be honest, I didn't think my clothes were that bad. It's not like the clothes smell like a lawnmower or something. At least, I hadn't noticed it. Next time I go shopping, I'm going to sniff the clothing before I buy anything, just to make sure. I'm also going to wear a big hat, wig, sunglasses, and a phony mustache to see if anyone will recognize me. And maybe borrow back from the store. Cheap fashions are us. Whatever. Mom and Dad are driving me nuts. In the past 72 hours, they have posted all over the house 139 positive affirmations on rainbow-colored sticky notes that say really stupid things like, "Be your own friend, invite yourself over for a sleepover." Unfortunately, I didn't get to read the one they stuck in the toaster slot thingy because it caught on fire when I tried to make a strawberry Pop-Tart for breakfast. What the... I had to dump my bottle of orange juice to put the sticky note out. And after that, the toaster started melting, shooting blue electrical sparks, and making a loud, angry noise like... I'm thinking we're probably going to need a new one. But what was really scary was that our house could have actually burnt to the ground, all because my parents took a sticky note in the toaster slot thingy. I know my mom and dad meant well, but sometimes they're an embarrassment. I'm already dreading that this weekend is almost over, and I have to go back to school tomorrow. It's been one whole week, and I still haven't made a single friend. I've got this overwhelming sense of loneliness sitting in the pit of my stomach, like a big, fat, poisonous toad. I'm seriously thinking about asking my parents to let me move back to the city and live with my grandma so I can attend my old school. I'll admit the school wasn't perfect, but I'd give anything to hang out with my friends from our class again. I really miss them. Anyway, my grandma lives in one of those apartments for elderly people who are young at heart and committed to leading a full and active life. So, she's up on all the latest fads and stuff. She's also a little bit wacky. Okay, a lot wacky. And totally addicted to the game show The Prince is Right. Last year, Grandma bought a computer from the Home Shopping Network to help her train to be a contestant on The Prince is Right. Now, she spends most of her time on her computer, memorizing the suggested retail prices of all the major grocery store brands. She plans to use all of her research and game strategies to write a how-to manual called The Prince is Right for Morons. Grandma says her book can be bigger than Harry Potter. I didn't think being on a game show took any special skills, but she told me you had to train like you would for the Super Bowl. So she took a few sips of her energy drink, stared at me real serious-like, and whispered, "When life presents challenges, you can either be a chicken or a champion. The choice is yours." Then she started humming Girls Just Want to Have Fun really loud. And I was like, just great. Grandma is finally going senile. Doesn't she understand that some things in life you're stuck with and powerless to change? Jeez. But I have to admit, she's gotten pretty good at The Prince is Right. The last few times I saw her play along with the game show, she got every single price correct. It was amazing because she would have won like $549,321 in cash and prizes, including 3 cars, a boat, a trip for 2 to Niagara Falls, and a lifetime supply of Depends adult diapers. Then I gave her a big hug and said, "Grandma, you have mad skills at the Price is Right game, and I'm really proud of you. You should really try to get out of the house more often." Grandma just smiled and said her life is exciting now, that she's taking hip-hop dance lessons at the Senior Rec Center, and her dance teacher, Crump Daddy, is a dope. Then she asked me if I wanted to see her bust a move. She was actually pretty good for a 76-year-old. Grandma's a little wacky, but you gotta love her. This morning, the halls were plastered with colorful posters for random acts of Avant Garde art, our annual school art show. I'm super excited because the first prize for each class is $500 cash. I'm super excited because that would be enough for me to buy a cell phone, a new outfit from the mall, and art supplies. But the most important, winning that award could transform me from a socially challenged art dork to a socially charmed art diva, practically overnight. Who would have thunk my art skills could get me into the CCP clique? So I rushed down to the school office to get an entry form and was surprised to see a line had already formed. And guess who else was picking one up? Mackenzie. And as usual, she was blabbering nonstop. Like, since I'm going to be a model, fashion designer, pop star, I already have a portfolio of 7 hot fashion illustrations for my Fab Forever clothing line, which I also plan to wear on my very successful world tour as the opening act for Miley Cyrus, who, of course, will fall head over heels in love with my designs and buy like $1 million worth. Then I'm going to enroll at a prestigious university like Harvard, Yale, or the Westchester Fashion Institute of Cosmetology, which, by the way, is owned by my aunt, Clara. Okay, I'll admit, I kind of freaked out about having to compete against Mackenzie. She just kept staring at me with her icy green eyes, and my stomach felt queasy, and I got chill bumps. Then, suddenly, I had an epiphany, and I totally understood what my grandma meant when she said, "You can be a chicken or a champion. The choice is yours." So I gathered up all my strength and determination, took a deep breath, and muttered the courage to decide right there on the spot which I was: a big, fat chicken. When the office assistant asked if I was there to pick up an entry for the Avant Garde art show, I just froze and started clucking like a hen. Then Mackenzie left, like me entering the competition was the most ridiculous thing she had ever heard. That was when I spotted the yellow sign-up sheet for library shelving assistants, also known as LSAs. Every day during study hall, a few kids get excused to go to the school library to shelve books. And LSA's life is about exciting as watching paint dry. So instead of trying to achieve my dream of winning a major art competition, I very stupidly signed up to shelve dusty and boring library books. If I see one more book, I'm going to puke. And it's all Mackenzie's fault. When I reported to the library during study hall, the librarian, Ms. Peach, gave me a tour. She told me I would be working with 2 other girls who had signed up last week. But what I wanted to know was who, in their right mind, would sign up to shelve library books as an extracurricular activity. At least, had a good excuse.
I walked away from the office and then collapsed against the wall. Suddenly, a leaf on the plant I had hid behind moved, and I saw this eye staring out at me. Then 2 eyes. Very icy green eyes. Mackenzie. Yes, the Mackenzie was peeping out at me from behind the big potted plant near the office door. She was so busted. Finally, Mackenzie climbed out of the plant and sashayed over to the drinking fountain like she was thirsty or something. But it was very obvious to me that she was just trying to use water torture to force me to change my mind about entering the art competition. Oopsie. My bad. Mackenzie tried to act all innocent and apologetic, like the whole squirting on me with water thing was just an accident. But I looked into her beady little eyes, and I could tell she absolutely meant to do it. I just still couldn't get over the fact that I had actually caught her spying on me, which kind of made me angry because I don't follow her around spying on her to get all up in her Kool-Aid, which, by the way, means business. Well, at least not that often. Today it was totally an exception, mainly because we were both turning into entries for the art competition at the same time. But to stoop so low as to spy on me? That girl is one sick little cat. Whoa! I can't believe I'm actually writing this while I'm hiding in the janitor's supply closet. I know it's super grungy in here and it smells like an old, wet, mildewy mop, but I don't know where else to go. I absolutely hate the stupid school. Today, I was carrying my lunch tray and trying to get to table 9, where I was supposed to meet Chloe and Zoe. Things were going pretty good because I had managed to sneak past the jock table without a football player making those embarrassing farting noises with their armpits. But as I was walking past Mackenzie's table, I really wasn't paying attention. She and Jessica must have still been pretty mad at me about the party invitation in the art competition, because this is what happened. I tripped, and suddenly everything started moving in slow motion. My lunch tray went flying up over my head, and I heard a very familiar voice shrieking, "No!" Then in horror, I realized it was mine. I was so stunned I could barely breathe. My spaghetti and cherry jubilee dessert were smeared across my face and the front of my clothes. I looked like a life-size version of one of Brianna's messy finger paintings. I just closed my eyes and lay there like a beached whale, while every inch of my body aching, even my hair hurt. However, the worst part was that the entire cafeteria was laughing like crazy. I was so embarrassed I wanted to die. I could barely see because I had cherry jubilee in my eyes, and it made everything look red and really blurry. Finally, I gathered the strength to crawl to my knees. But each time I tried to get up, I slipped in the mixture of spaghetti and milk and fell back down again. I have to admit, I probably looked hilarious sloshing around in my lunch like that. And if it hadn't been happening to me, I definitely would have been laughing my butt off along with everyone else. Then Mackenzie folded her arms and glared at me and yelled, "So, Nikki, are you having a nice trip?"